The Twitter Elon saga heats up. You've got Elon subpoenaing Jack Dorsey, and you've got this really damning report from the former chief security officer at Twitter. Let's see what he has to say. Let's jump into Twitter. We've got now Twitter, not a tech monopoly, but an absolute perpetrator of abusing our civil liberties and silencing free speech. Twitter's recklessness in this area is now actually having a nice, huge spotlight shown on it, not just because of Elon, but because of this whistleblower. There's two different articles reported on, one by CNN, one by Washington Post, with this whistleblower who came forward. Wasn't just any Joe Blow employee at Twitter. This is actually their former chief security officer who reported directly to the CEO of the company. He was fired in January of this past year. Twitter alleges that it was due to performance issues. He says that he has attempted to flag these security lapses to Twitter's board and to help Twitter fix years of technical shortcomings and alleged non-compliance. He says that basically Twitter has no way to actually understand or regulate their issues with bots. Twitter executives don't have the resources to fully understand the true number of bots on the platform, and they were not motivated to. Why? Because they were selling ads for the bot usage. Twitter says, oh no, we would never charge you for a bot clicking on your thing or liking your tweet, right? But if they don't know who's a bot and who isn't a bot, well then how would they actually be able to prevent you from being charged ad dollars for that engagement, right? Not only that, then they're reporting on the engagement in their quarterly earnings and their annual earnings and their 10K they're giving out to public shareholders. And these executives have a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders to report the truth. And these executives, as we've reported on this show many times prior, what they've publicly asserted is that they have no more than 5%, i.e. less than 5% of bot and spam users on Twitter. Not looking good for Twitter right now, right? We'll come back to some of this guy's other claims here in a second, but that also dovetails. Literally, these things have come back to back here with now Elon issuing a subpoena to Jack Dorsey, co-founder of Twitter, former CEO of Twitter. Apparently, Twitter has been issuing subpoenas against Musk and his team. Twitter subpoenaed a number of Musk's associates, and the list includes several prominent investment firms and venture capitalists. You know, Twitter, why don't you just get out of your own way and go to Elon and say, Elon, okay, let's do the deal at, 33. Put in a 420 in there, and then maybe Elon will agree, right? Elon loves these, like putting 420s and these fun numbers in his deals. It's clearly not worth $44 billion. You've clearly actually committed like serious legal issues here, fraud. And if you don't close this deal, I know no matter what, the management team and former management team at Twitter is going to be embroiled in lawsuits for many, many years to come. But if you do at least sell the company, at least the lawsuit is going to come that, you could have maybe sold it for more money if you hadn't misled investors. But if you don't sell the company, the deal falls apart. They're coming after you for that and a whole lot more. So this whistleblower didn't stop there. He also said that, I think this is CNN's narrative, the disclosure paints a picture of a chaotic and reckless environment at a mismanaged company that allows too many of its staff access to the platform's central controls and most sensitive information without adequate oversight. What does that mean? So when you want to ban a user, take down their post, modify their post, shadow ban their post, that those controls are way too liberally distributed throughout different individuals and employees inside the company. And I'm sure some extended, contractors that they have that help with content regulation. So they never set up the proper process and control. And then also, this is now CNN, it also alleges that some of the company's most senior executives have been trying to cover up Twitter's serious vulnerabilities And here we go. And that one or more current employees may be working for a foreign intelligence service. Do you think that foreign intelligence service happens to be inside of one or multiple communist countries named China and or Russia? What do you think? What are you willing to bet on that one? Not only that, Twitter's leadership has misled its own board and government regulators about its security vulnerabilities, including some that could allegedly open the door to foreign spying or manipulation, hacking, and disinformation campaigns. I mean, it just keeps going. The whistleblower alleges Twitter does not reliably delete users' data after they cancel their accounts. All kinds of privacy violations in that statement. In some cases, because the company has lost track of the information. Even better, what a magnificent excuse. Not even negligence. They just literally have lost the information. And that it has misled regulators about whether it deletes the data as it is required to do so. Right? So they say, yes, you cancel your account, we delete all your information. He says, no, they don't do that because they actually don't even know how to do it because this whole thing is a quagmire. Some of Zatko's most damning claims spring from his apparently tense relationship with Parag Agrawal. Do you find that name familiar? Yes, you should, because that is the current CEO of Twitter and the former CTO. Jack, after he left, made Parag the CEO. According to the whistleblower, Agrawal and his lieutenants repeatedly discouraged Zatko from providing a full accounting of Twitter security problems to the company's board of directors. They wanted him to cherry pick and misrepresent data to create the false perception of progress on urgent cybersecurity issues. And they went behind Zatko's back to have a third-party consulting firm's report scrubbed to hide the true extent of the company's problems. Wow. Some of this stuff, right? You could say it's he said, she said. They cherry picked what I was able to talk about. Okay, well, you still agreed to cherry pick, right? But for example, if he can prove this, that he hired a third-party consulting firm, they did their audit, and then these other lieutenants under Parag expunged that report and kind of got rid of it, didn't disseminate it. Some of this stuff, there isn't necessarily a paper trail that you can go and prove, but some of these things, there are absolutely paper trails. The disclosure is generally much kinder to Jack Dorsey, who is the person who actually hired Zatko, and whom Zatko believes wanted to see the problems within the company fixed. But it does depict Jack as extremely disengaged leading Twitter. So much so that some senior staff think he might have been sick. We've repeatedly talked about Jack just his aloof nature, just ultimately being a bad CEO, right? Someone always told me, if you want to be a good manager, doesn't matter, CEO, whatever, manager. Yes, you got to set the strategy, but do you do the follow-ups? Do you do the unpleasant things? Do you do the things that you could kind of just brush off in the rug, right? When you are managing people, are you actually looking and following up with them and going through what they're doing and giving them feedback? And that's the kind of stuff that holds people accountable. That's the kind of stuff that when you have really motivated team members, you can help really challenge them and give them feedback on how they're doing, right? But you have to provide the time to assess how they're doing and then provide the feedback, right? This guy's nowhere to be found. He's doing ayahuasca trips. Maybe he's doing some health stuff on the side. He's running Square, now called Block. He's aloof. Not an appropriate CEO. Should have stepped down long time ago. And now I think what you're finding here is just the beginning. This company has so many skeletons in this closet. I bet this is honestly part of Elon's plan. And I still think Elon wants to buy the company because Elon was not buying it for financial gain. Elon was buying it, and I do believe this, to help improve the state of free speech in this country, which has been under complete siege for years and has just escalated to a whole other degree of thought policing these past couple of years since COVID. But it was still happening pre-COVID, and we'd been talking about it on our show ever since we started the show years ago. Now, over 3 years, actually, on the show. I think Elon wants to buy it, but the guy's not an idiot. He doesn't need to spend an extra $10 billion if he's been actively lied to, right? And if when you do your diligence, when you do your diligence and you look at, okay, well, how is this was the apparent valuation and engagement and scale that you had. And then when I get in there and I see that there's just mayhem and chaos, you look at some of that as a future acquirer and you say, well, I could actually clean a lot of this stuff up and create a lot of value. That's probably half the stuff Zacho is talking about. You look at that, and if I'm Elon, I go $, $, $. I'm going to make money. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to remove a lot of the stop policing and these crazy open security and silencing products and controls they've federated out to everyone and their mother inside of this company. But then on the other part where you've got legal liability with all these privacy violations, not deleting people's information. And then certainly, the issue of bots and spam users, a huge problem. There's good and bad from this report, frankly, in the eye of the potential owner. Net, though, I think this is a win for Elon, clearly. And I think this amps up the pressure on Twitter. Just cut a deal. The markets are in a free fall. Maybe they've stabilized a little bit, but there's more to go. This is the first of what I think are many skeletons in some pretty dark closets that maybe Parag doesn't even know about, because Jack has been so far removed from this company for so long. I'd be fretting right about now. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on the continued Elon Twitter saga. We've, I think, covered it better than anyone else and called things before anyone else has called them about what actually has happened, right? No one thought Elon was going to buy the company. We called it before anyone else did.